Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking.
You gotta watch your thinking. Watch your thinking. Watch your thinking.
Just welcome everybody, because you know what? Last week we didn't do podcasts, and I apologize, but I didn't get out of bed last week because I had the flu, and I missed you, and I hope that your week was okay without us, but your week's going to be better because you're here now. So this week I'm here as always with Jaycine, our creator-based business coach, and Jenn, our brilliant hypnotherapist and also creator-based coach. And don't look like that, because you are brilliant. Just
Hi.
I see. Yeah. And we're talking about confidence. And I just have to tell you, confidence has not been on my radar the last couple of weeks. Because with having the flu, I just spent 3 days in the same sweatshirt and the same ick, and you go through the sweaties and it was just, by Thursday, I was like, just nobody even look at me, and my confidence was sinking. And then this morning, as I got ready to do the podcast, I was telling the girls, I was aligning the camera and dumped my whole cup of Creo in my lap, which started, well, I had to strip everything. I'm still finding, wait, there's still more Creo on my chair. It's a mess. Mopped the floor, changed my clothes. Everything had to be changed. It was a wreck. And what wanted to happen? Why are you so clumsy? Can't you just get it together? Look what you just did. Off to the races. And now we're talking about confidence. There's really a reason for the stuff that happens. So brain plus Bible or scriptures, for those of you who also use the Book of Mormon or the Pearl of Great Price, but brain plus Bible, because the alliteration, y'all, and equals a formula for confidence. And we're going to talk about that today. So Jenn is our brain.
Oh, dear. Not today, you're not.
Yeah. In this case, what we're going to talk about is, for a couple minutes, we're going to talk about the neuroscience perspective on what creates confidence, right? Or what rewires the brain so that we can feel confident, because we know that fear lives in the amygdala, right? Mm-hmm. So thinking about it in neuroplasticity and in neuroscience, how do we get out of fear? We'll start there. That's the brain part.
Well, this is just what I'm thinking about right now. I don't know how correct this is. Okay, so do not quote me on this. But when we're in fear, when
to millions of people,
I know, I'm serious. Debunk me if you serious, or like educate me. I would totally learn.
But this is what we know best. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm on spot, I would like to know. If I'm totally left field, let me know too. But this is kind of my experience, what I think, and so I'm just noodling it out here too with you. This is what I have experienced: is when I am in fear, I am in fight or flight. So I have completely unintegrated my brain. So I don't have full integration with all of my reasoning skills. Yeah, I've just completely flipped my lid. Okay. So if I can get myself back into this state where I can rationally think and reason, I have a better opportunity to say, okay, that fear is irrational and I can build my confidence off of that, if that makes sense. Or yes, that fear is really real, but how can I work with it? You know?
Yeah.
So to me, having that full integrated brain helps my confidence, because when I'm off to the races, Beth, it's because I'm scared or I'm
I had the deadline. I wanted to be on at 1:30, just like I told you guys I'd be here so we could do the podcast. And so it was the spring, that flipped for just a minute as I'm sitting here dripping in this brown sauce, and it's 1:25, 5 minutes. And so I didn't even recognize it until afterwards, but I know that part of me very well, who really likes to be on time and who takes pride in being on time, which is another thing for me to work on at some point in the future, but still really likes that precision. And so to put that blame or that pressure on myself to be on time made my lid flip just a little bit, went offline. And then when you're offline, who knows what's going on in there, right?
yeah. The sky's falling. Yeah.
Exactly. The sky is falling and I've got Creo and oh, what will they think? And oh my gosh, when you think about it with your brain, and can you explain just a little bit about how maybe we could strengthen ourselves with the prefrontal cortex, how confidence or working with fear in a different way could actually strengthen our thinking ability, our prefrontal cortex,
Well,
with
it's interesting because I mean, like your reaction of your autonomic nervous system is for your survival. So it's like you have to have it.
well,
But
and a lab full of Creo, that's survival instinct, right? This is
compared to like avoiding an accident, maybe not. It's just like, that's what we have to do. We have to be able to have a perspective of what our reactions of our nervous system are. Like, because we are in a modern society still dealing with biological responses. So we have to say, okay, and so I do sometimes say, is this, it's like, am I just freaking out here? I mean, I have to give myself like some space and to analyze. And as soon as I can get into that analyzing, I'm getting back into my like integrated brain. Because I mean, I can go into that flip out, freak out, emotion, fight, flight, or freeze. I mean, and that's okay. But then I'm going, okay, now I have choice. I can say, am I just going to run with this and be, and do it? Or am I going to try and figure out what is my best approach here? And I think educating yourself and having your experiences with your reactions is a big part of learning how to like manage those responses. And sometimes it's like I could feel that, it's like I'm still kind of like going like this. My brain is still trying to like freak out. I'm still trying to get it back online. And so sometimes you can do other tools and tricks to help yourself calm down, which we have taught. Breathing, we've taught.
breathing is go-to. A deep
Yeah.
breath, right in the middle of it. Okay, just come back to me. Come back to this present moment. That's what I did with the Creo as I sat here feeling my wet and the warm going cold because it's cold in Texas today. And just coming back into my body and feeling that. That's all I really needed was to go, well, if I'm late, I'm late. But come on, let's take care of this.
Yeah.
Just stepped right back and my lid came back together. I guess my thumb needs to be underneath,
I
right?
like how you said step back because you gave yourself a space and a perspective on your experience.
Just
I like to do that. I like to like almost look at it like I'm viewing my situation. I'm viewing Jenn in her freak out moment. And I'm gonna say, okay, yeah, girl, you could do this because you need to, or just like, what would be better? It's like you give yourself space and say, I am feeling this, I'm experiencing this. I can now choose my outcome. And then sometimes I'm like,
choose our outcome. Isn't that the beginning of confidence?
I would think so. I would think so.
Jaycine, we've been monopolizing the conversation. What you thinking?
I was thinking, I've been opening a lot of clinics, health source clinics, and now I'm here in California. And one of the things that the health source corporate is big on is that everybody in the clinic needs to go out and market. And that's scary for
That's
so
scary.
many people. Like
Mhm.
we're talking fear, right? And so that's where my mind has gone to confidence, because that initial step, going, to next door to Great Clips and bringing cards over that say, hey, here's what we do in our clinic.
Yeah.
That's really hard for people. And so I've been thinking a lot about how do I help people to have that confidence. And for me, there's several different steps. I'm big on quotes. They resonate well with me. And there's an acronym for fear, and it's face everything and rise. So there's
Ooh.
others, yes, but that is my go-to, is face everything and rise. And as I think about that, and then I bring in the scriptures with it, my favorite scripture is 2 Timothy 1:7.
I
For
love that one.
Right? So, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear. So let's talk about that for just a moment. Like, he doesn't give us fear. It doesn't come from God. And so when I step back and I realize that that's not coming from him, and I can target it and say that's from the adversary,
That
that's
is
coming from Satan, then that gives me power, right? For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but
the
of power,
love that he put
right?
power first.
Yes, right?
Power.
Power. That's what comes from God. And of love, right? So it's power and love. Those are his two biggies. And then the very end is
A sound mind.
a sound mind.
I
Like, we
love how
can't
power
have a
plus
sound
love
mind.
is a
Yes, equals.
yes. Mhm.
Yes. And that's what we want when we're facing our fears, right? Face everything and rise. We want that power, we want that love, and we want that sound mind, and we want that peace that comes from God.
Oh, I love
That
them. Face everything and that
I think if I could just add a little bit to this,
yeah,
Jason, I absolutely love it, because you're showing that, it's like we have the courage, face everything and arise, but it needs an action. I mean, you
yes,
have to step into whatever is scary. You have to engage with whatever is bringing you those emotions and those fears. And that is something that I have found that my confidence then builds the more I step into those, because it's almost like it erodes the fear of the experience.
yeah,
well,
takes it away.
you can't feel confident and courageous. You can't feel courageous and brave unless there's fear.
Mhm.
They
Right.
have in order to be confident. And so for you, Jenn, all those things that you faced, that courage has created confidence for you, right?
Yeah.
If we're not facing anything, how do we know if we're brave or not?
Yeah. Yeah. And we can't just, I mean, because I'm good at like avoiding. Oh, I can distract and avoid like you wouldn't believe.
Me too. Just give me
Yeah,
the
it's
I'll be good.
easy.
I'm fine.
And there are times though when I step into it and do and face and confront, and I'm like, I
Oh,
built that up to be this big scary thing, and it wasn't. And I almost have to like laugh at myself or go like, oh, and you
yeah.
learn and you remember from those experiences. So the next time when it comes up, you can face and rise.
Yeah.
Yes. Face and
I
rise.
like that acronym, Jaycine.
I do too. That's a really good one. I've always heard the false expectations appearing real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has a darker slant. The face, everything, and rise is a positive.
It's
It's
Yes.
power. It's
Yes.
empowering. I love that.
it's
Yep.
imp yeah. I really, really love it. Well, that is everything I have to say about fear and confidence.
There is something that I want to add that you can do as a mind, I don't want to say a mind trick, but we know that the subconscious, if you tell it something 3 times, it will believe it is truth.
That's the truth. I've learned that. Yeah.
So just kind of think of all the things you've been telling yourself more than 3 times. So what I would encourage to do, and I've done this too, and I also have to take my own advice and continue to do this, is find what is your scary thing or the thing you're avoiding, and tell yourself kind of the opposite of it in a positive way. 3 times, kind of make yourself like a statement or something, and then
Like,
sit down, close your eyes, and visualize yourself as you are saying the statement, actually doing the thing. Because if you plan it in your subconscious, what I was explaining, because if you can then take that and plan it in your subconscious has kind of like a little movie to go off of. It says, oh, we've already done this thing, because you've already visualized it, because your subconscious can't tell between reality and non-reality. It just believes. So if you can get yourself calm and keep saying your statement over and over again, and see yourself step by step. You need to have your steps, like step by step, doing the thing, feeling the emotions, make that movie in your head. Then when you come out in real life and do the thing, it's easier for you. You may still have the reactions, because it's now you're walking it, but your subconscious now has like a game plan. It's like, oh, we've already done this. We can do it.
made a plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So an example, they do this all the time in sports. And I just watched some really cool videos where they do this with fighter pilots.
Oh,
Yep.
cool.
Yes, it's so cool. And I even have seen dancers do it, where they do the choreography in their head first,
Mhm.
with the music, to the beats, everything like that, and then they do it. So
Well,
they
you see the Olympics when I was watching gymnastics in the Olympics earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the girls with the headphones and their music on, and they're not moving, but they're doing it in their mind.
And they may do just a little something or whatever like that, but or turn their body and things like that. But if you can practice it, and my husband even taught me this, and long before I even started to do that, he is like an amazing free throw shooter. And he could hit all over the court. I'm like, how do you do that? He's like, oh, I'll stand there and just practice with my eyes closed with no ball. And I see the ball from my hand going into it, going into it, going into it. So he goes, so I just kind of know that when I shoot, it's gonna happen.
Go in. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, so
What?
it doesn't have to be a sport thing. It can be, okay, I am so scared of needles and drawing blood
Mhm.
that I really seriously have to talk myself off the ledge.
A lot of us are. That's a
Yeah.
common fear. Yeah.
And so I have actually done this, where I have sat and I've like, okay, this is what I think is going to happen. This is where I think I'm going to feel. I don't want that. So I change it. And I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. Just to be
I
like,
love
like, I can't say, that's my go-to. So as I am sitting, I drive myself to the phlebotomist or whatever place. In my mind, I know exactly where it's going. I'll walk in, I'll sit down. My name will be called. I'll walk in, I'll sit down on the thing. I'll pull up my sleeve, or I'll take I'll even like feel the coolness of the alcohol and things like that. I'll feel the tightness, I'll walk myself through everything to where I get to the point where like I will actually, the needle go in, and I will tell myself, this is okay. I won't hurt. The needle's fine.
Yeah.
And I have had like I mean, I'll have the anxiety a little bit before, but as I walk through it and I go in there and I do it, I'm all like, I have made this a big thing for a long time. And so, it's like these are some things that you can help yourself overcome some of these fear of speaking in public, fear of just going into places, probably public places, anything, a test, anything. But I do a lot of praying too with it.
Yeah. Prayer is really important. And the testifying to yourself, like Jaycine was bringing up with that Second Timothy scripture, to use scripture, use the word. There's a lot of power in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, rise. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you just have to do it. That's it, And a lot of times, like playing piano for the congregation in church that I had to do a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was really scary. But, sitting down and just talking to myself and saying, you got this. You got this, Jaycine. You
Done
got
this
this.
100
Yeah,
times. You can do
you
this.
got this.
No brainer.
And telling myself that I can do it, that is so powerful, is being able to tell yourself, you can do this, you got this.
Yeah.
And instead of saying, oh, I can't do it, or I'm really scared, or, where's your focus, right?
That's what I was going
There's
to say.
your
No
focus.
focus. Yeah. Huh.
And
Yeah.
even like speaking truth to the fear. This was something I did long before I got into into the this coaching stuff and everything and the mind stuff. It's like there was a movie out a long time ago that the girl in the movie was just nonchalantly brave about things. And her saying was like, well, it's not like it's the Spanish Inquisition. This is not what we sometimes feel like we're going to go in and die. We're going to be either like tortured or we're going to die.
It's not life or death. It's
Yeah,
just
it's not like this is the Spanish Inquisition. And I was like, I really need to be saying those type of things to myself to calm that down, put it into perspective. Yeah.
well, and I found when I was playing the organ, because like Jaycine, I did a lot of accompanying the congregation, that the beginning, the first year or so of doing that was terrifying. And then the second year or so, it was, well, I've done this before. And yes, it was scary, but I did it and I did it well, and I'll do it again. It
Mhm.
just was the experience of repeatedly facing the fear that really made the difference. And what was interesting was facing that fear weekly changed a lot of the other things in my life, and I had confidence in other areas. And it's just
That's
the
amazing.
carryover was great.
Hmm.
I also like the saying, it was out a while back, and it was actually the theme of one of my friends' family. And her daughter was in my seminary class, and I just loved it. But it was, I can do hard things.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can do hard things. I love
Oh,
it.
And you can do
hard
hard
is fun.
things.
Hard is fun. My kids hate it, but that was our family motto the whole time. This
Hard
is
is
hard.
fun.
Hard is fun. Just try it. It's fun. It
Mhm.
never, it was fun though, doing the organ, and accompanying when I was confident. When I
Yes.
was afraid, it was working with that and doing that work for myself.
Yes.
But when
I
I was
think
confident, it was really fun.
I think like with your example too, and it bleeds into all the other ones, is you have more confidence when you practice the thing. And
It's
so you have to show up, you have to try, you have to do,
Right.
and you have to put yourself in a situation like, yeah, I'm going to either make mistakes or fail, and that's okay.
yeah.
And I think that can lead into what a lot of people are talking about right now is resilience.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
practice. That's resilience. It's when you just tell yourself it's just practice. I practiced today. I will practice again tomorrow. Oh, look, it's another opportunity to practice mopping up Creole, getting it off. It's another opportunity to practice.
It's all good.
It's all good. Well, and that's just so funny because when we look at it as a practice, it's a practice, not a perfect, that really
Yeah.
boosts our confidence
It
because
does.
it engages that inner critic. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
lets us do.
And I
Let's,
think our confidence grows as we master things.
Mhm.
So.
It does. It does.
Question. What have you mastered?
Nothing.
Oh, you have, Jaycine. You have.
Okay, I have
I know
a
that I've
title,
mastered anything.
but
You
have
have.
I really mastered it?
Jaycine has mastered the triangle, the drama triangle. You have
I
mastered
love
it.
that.
You can identify and teach that. So you have mastered that.
Okay. Okay.
I'll take it.
Yes. Well, and I think when we ask ourselves, what have we mastered? That's when we need to shift our perspective, critic to wide open eyes, willing to
Mhm.
learn. Because I think if we open our eyes to who we really are, who God sees us, we see our purpose, we will see we have mastered many more things than what we give ourselves credit for. And that builds our confidence. Didn't you, Jenn, at one time you had me make a list of all the things that I had succeeded with?
Yeah.
I learned to walk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I felt, in fact, I just came across it a couple days ago. I was looking for a new journal to write in, and I had written it in the back of one of the open journals. And I'm like, what is this? Oh, wait, no, I know what this is. And just in coming across it and reading maybe 5 or 6, I felt so good. I felt so big. I felt so competent And so I wonder how much rehearse and remember comes into play with building our confidence to go back and rehearse those memories.
Why I love to point out to people their journey in learning how to walk is because that is so ingrained in your subconscious at such a young age that
Yeah.
you can lean on that. Because I can't even remember what the statistics were, but it was like a toddler falls down like thousands of times before they actually learn how to put it all together. But a toddler gets up, may cry and sit there for a while, but they always get back up. They always, what is that within us? Yeah, so it's like we can pull on that strength of that learning experience of we know how to fall down thousands of times and get back up until we succeed.
Well, and we can see it's innate. It's built into us. We have that gift of falling down and getting back up, the getting back up again. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Because
beautiful.
what toddler understands that he can't do that?
He doesn't think he can.
No.
He's going to practice till he does.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the mentality we need to have. We grow up and we start putting limitations on ourselves with our belief systems. So yeah.
And so maybe it's just seeing childlike.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Seeing in a childlike way. All those things that we think are big and scary because we're supposed to be adults. Like you said, they're just limitations that we've put on ourselves. Yeah. Well said. I knew you guys would know this one. Brain plus Bible equals a formula for confidence. I just kind of loved that. It's brilliant. The quote, this one is from Renee Swope, and she says, I want to be a woman who overcomes obstacles by tackling them in faith. You say it one more time. I want to be a woman who overcomes obstacles by tackling them in faith instead of tiptoeing around them in fear.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Just confidence practice right there. I will tackle it in faith because I know God and I can do anything together, right?
Yep.
Instead of tiptoeing around them and trying to avoid them. Let me just be.
Will you make a little screenshot Mimi thing for us? With that
Mimi thing. And if you open your Monday morning inspiration, it's right there for you.
Oh, it is already there. Yay.
The Mimi thing.
And it's really pretty. It's one that I'm real pleased with. It's really pretty. So you could use it as a desktop or you could put it on your phone. Yeah. But I love her words of overcoming and obstacles and tackling. They're big action words, you know?
But I also love the contrast of tiptoeing because.
And tiptoeing around. We're not even going to.
Yeah.
Not engaging, just going to avoid. Like that really sits with me.
I'll avoid it too. Same way. Hey, Jaycine, what are we doing on book club these days?
I don't even know.
You guys might be taking a break.
That sounds terrible. Yeah, I haven't, like this month, I haven't even been there. I think we're talking about happiness. We are. It's a happiness book.
Still authentic. Is it Authentic Happiness?
Yes, that's it.
From Martin Seligman.
Yes.
Still doing Martin Seligman's book. And then March is just around the corner. You know, when we talk next week, it'll be March.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Is a month full of hope. I know February really is Hope Month at CMH Coaching, but March is when things get green in Texas. It's just so exciting. Like just this morning, I was having conversations with the person who's going to turn over all of the dirt in my garden beds, you know, and I'm like, yeah, and 1st of March, we're planting seeds. So I'm
wow.
March.
It's amazing.
It's in March. Yeah. So any ideas on a book for next month?
No.
Forward. Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
So let me just summarize what we talked about today, because we hit everything in the 5 steps to overcome. It's just 5 ideas. Rehearse and remember was one of the things. Your successes, right? Just keep your success, at least a couple, 3 of them in the back of your head that you can bring out and rehearse in your mind. Like Jenn was saying, to image it out and to see yourself successful. and remember that and what that feels like in your body. And then the other thing Jenn talked about was rewiring your inner dialogue, changing those limiting beliefs. The shift is, what if I fail? It goes from what if I fail, which was always my big one. What if I make a mistake and the whole congregation hears my bad notes? Or worse than that was, what if I lose my place in the music and can't go forward?
Yeah.
That was huge. But it was, what if I fail? And then change that from what if I fail to what if I grow?
Mm-hmm.
And so I would do it in my head from what if I lose my place to what if I have to one-hand it? Oh, well, that's okay. I can one-hand it until I get the other hand going. And that was my growth. What if I grow? Because we're designed to be successful. Then another idea for building confidence was come to Coach and Clear. Because
Yes.
the people that you surround yourself with really determine how confident you feel. You think about the times when maybe you were younger and you were in a group where there were a few mean girls, or maybe you even have some mean girls at work, or people contrast that to being around people who really believe in your strengths. Huge difference. Jenn, you look like you want to say something about who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah, I really had this interesting, I follow this podcast, and this woman she's like I don't want to say a social psychologist, but I think she might be. She was talking about how they did this study in corporate, in like the corporate world and offices. And she talked about how they studied the offices that had the people that were a little bit more on the negative critical side and the offices that were on the positive side, and that it was actually more detrimental to the group of the project, and that when they had more negative people, because you actually absorb and become, it literally brought you down.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to surround yourself with people that are encouraging and uplifting and supportive, for you to be confident and to grow and to be healthy. It was an interesting study. Yeah. So choose wisely who you have around you.
Well, and Jaycine knows all about this because there you are you're in California this week.
Yeah, California this week. Yeah.
What do you see in offices? Do you see that same kind of thing?
Yeah, we actually, I teach something called the 7 forbidden phrases, and they are all negative, like they're negative phrases, like, unfortunately, I'm sorry, no. And how do you flip that to a positive? And so thinking about when you have a patient that calls that says, hey, can I come in today at 10 a.m.? and I don't have an appointment available, I'm going to say, hey, Beth, what I can do is I can get you in at 10:30, or I could get you in at 9:45. Which of those times works for you?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's no negative in that. So I don't say, oh, unfortunately, we don't have a 10 a.m. available. Because what that equates to in people's minds is, you can't help me.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear those things 2 to 3 times, that's really what our human brain starts saying is, you can't help me.
Well, and that's not helpful at all.
It's not helpful.
Or I'm not important to you.
Or I'm not important. Yeah. Yeah.
Or doubt, just general doubt, right?
So when we're talking with others, just remember, like, keep it upbeat. What can you do? It's always about what I can do. Here's what I can do for you.
But I can't. And that is one of the things that we work with regularly with coaching around here, right? Is flip that script, and especially Coach and Clear, flipping that script, and then what can we do energetically, and what can we do in our forward momentum for the next week to hold that? You come in, I'm really truly in love with our Coach and Clear groups right now, because the women are just so great, and they're so good at supporting one another that you can in ornery, which I'm good at.
A lot of people do. Hello.
Yeah. And you spend the first 5 minutes ornery, which is pretty typical. And then somebody will say something and it'll kick that emotion into motion. And then all of a sudden you're like, what was, okay. So, and then you're rolling, right? Kind of like Jaycine said, flipped it from I can't, which is generally, why you're ornery in the first place, to of course I can. And the confidence grows. Yeah. It's just so great. So surround yourself with great people. Coach and Clear is a really good way to do that. And then the last step was celebrate small wins. Okay. Confidence is built by celebrating to integrate that experience, right, in small victories. And I know there's got to be neuroscience there, Jenn.
I'm sure
there just has to be, because it's baby steps, right?
Well, I would also think when you have a victory, how do you feel? So there's an emotion, and any belief that you can tie an emotion to, a positive emotion, and cement it, it's going to be deeper in your subconscious.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm thinking like with victories, I'm happy, I feel confident, I'm like possibly relieved, those type of things. But I think the key point is to celebrate, to actually be aware of it and let yourself swim in that emotion of amazingness.
Feel it, right?
Love that.
In my body, swim in that emotion. Yeah, the physicalness of it.
Yeah, and just like, and then plant it in you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. And
Beautiful.
Just great. And confidence is great. So you just got to keep practicing, right? It's normal to feel fearful, and it's normal to feel confident. And every time you feel fearful, say, oh, great, it's an opportunity to practice. I can't be brave unless I'm afraid. So here we go. Let's practice.
Here we go.
Let's do this. Here we go.
We're going to practice.
You got this. You got this.
Yeah. Clear, because, you'll have lots more, what's the word I want? Lots more ammunition to work with. Those fears,
Yep.
To really grow in your confidence and your courage and your faith all together.
All right.
Well, guys, and I will talk to you in March at my house, and beautiful. I'm excited. Just a few more days and it'll be March and almost spring.
Yeah, it will be.
Have a beautiful, beautiful week.
Bye, y'all.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Hey, thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at cmhcoaching.com or on Linktree/cmhcoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think